Hey guys, and welcome back to
Sam Rex, Witcher Things.
In this video, we're going to be ranking the members from the Lodge of Sorceresses. If you're not familiar, the Lodge is a secret organization made up of sorceresses who are interested in serving matters of magic and its future, quote unquote. They really just want to work together to influence political outcomes for their own favor. So this group of women, they do a lot of things that are sometimes good, sometimes bad, sometimes it's individually, sometimes it's collectively, but it can leave the reader with room to have a variance of opinions on them. So they're perfect for a tier list. My rankings are pretty much just going to be based on how much I enjoy reading about them, so it doesn't really have that much to do with morality, so just keep that in mind as we're going through the list. And speaking of which, here is our tier list. We have love. We have fine, you're invited. I'm kind of reluctantly inviting them to my lodge that I'm creating, but they still get to come to my lodge and be a member and sit at the table. No opinion is here because some of these characters just don't really do or say very much, so it's really difficult to judge them. No invite, they're not getting an invite. I guess the members that are going into no opinion are also not getting an invite, but you know what? The ones in no invite are not getting an invite, and I'm also gonna make sure they know about it. So if you're in no opinion, I'll keep it a secret from you, but I'm gonna make sure if you're in no invite, you're gonna find out that this lodge exists and that you didn't get invited. And then F that B speaks for itself. That's the ones that I hate. Also, this is strictly covering book lore, so any retcon or lore from the games or from that show that we don't talk about anymore, none of that is considered when it comes to this tier list, just the books. All right, with that said, here we go. Let's start ranking. We're gonna start with Triss Merigold. So she really needs no introduction. If you're familiar with The Witcher in any capacity, you know who Triss is. And I'm gonna go and put Triss in fine. You're invited. I'm inviting Triss to my lodge reluctantly. I've got mixed feelings when it comes to Triss based on her involvement with the lodge. As a character as a whole, my feelings are she's a difficult one. I mean, okay, you know what? I'll just say right now, before I upset anybody, I like Triss. I do. I've got a lot of opinions on her, but strictly speaking about the lodge, there's something that she does that I really don't like, and that is that she betrays Yen for the lodge, for Philippa. And I thought that that was really cowardly. I didn't like that. But she also votes for Ciri to go see Geralt. And this is the moment, the last lodge meeting that we see in the books, where Ciri's forced to go there, and then every member votes on whether or not Ciri is allowed to go see Geralt one more time. I'm actually going to bring this up a lot. This influences my decision for most of them. She also rescues Yen during the Rivian pogrom, and she actually helps to bring the pogrom to an end. And I know that that's not directly related to her involvement in the lodge. It's kind of related though, like because she wouldn't be there. She wouldn't have been in Rivia in the first place if it hadn't been for her participation in the lodge. Next up, Philippa Eilhart. So Philippa is the mastermind behind the lodge. She is the highly self-interested, manipulative Redanian sorceress. And she is going to go right next to Triss. And fine, you're invited. Philippa is a ruthless murderer. She refuses to help Yen when she needs it. It's actually tied to what I was talking about with Triss. But she takes charge, she gets shit done, and she does so with style. She makes mistakes, but her confidence and her determination make her likable, in my opinion. And she votes in Ciri's favor to go see Geralt. She was actually the last one to cast a vote, and she seemed like she was going to be the least likely to vote in her favor. It seemed like Ciri wasn't going to be allowed to go see Geralt because it was left up to Philippa in the end. And then she has this really cool human moment. She flashes back to her childhood, and then she votes for Ciri to go. Also, she can transform into an owl. Like, that's not related to the lodge, I know, but it's cool. So she can come and she can sit there in owl form. Kiera Metz. She is originally an advisor to King Foltest of Temeria. During the Thanad coup, she gets thrown out of a window and lands on Geralt. And other than that, there's really not much else to say about her, which is why I have no opinion. There's just very little dialogue, and she doesn't really do much. She doesn't really make any decisions, so can't really judge her that well. Fringilla Vigo. She is one of 2 Nilfgaardian sorceresses in the group. Geralt has a little love affair with her during his time in Toussaint, and Fringilla, I'm sorry, but you're gonna be the first one to not get an invite. And this is directly related to her betrayal of Geralt for the Lodge. And sure, Geralt did some bad things there too. He called her Yennefer during a moment where he really shouldn't have. But she was betraying him regardless. And the betrayal was sloppy. It wasn't even successful. And she expressed insecurities and doubt all along the way, which is very unlike Philippa. She had no style. And sure, she did help Yen to escape that Lodge meeting where Yen was forced to be there. She did vote in Ciri's favor to go see Geralt. And I think that that is why this decision was actually really hard. I couldn't have no opinion on this woman. So she was kind of teetering between an invite and a no invite. But when I think of Fringilla, I feel more chagrin. I'll say it. I feel more chagrin towards Fringilla than I feel any sort of admiration. So I don't want to have feelings of chagrin during my Lodge meetings, would you? So she's not getting invited. Now we have Assire Var Anahid. She is the one who invited Fringilla, so she's the other Nilfgaardian sorceress in this group. She's the one that the other members make fun of during the very first meeting because she's not all dolled up and pretty and made up like the rest of them usually are. And Assire is gonna go into the tier of fine, you are invited. I think that Assire seems to have more of a human side to her than a lot of the other members do. Like, she would often display sympathy towards characters who were sympathetic. She did, however, vote against Ciri going to see Geralt, but she did that because she was concerned for Ciri's safety. And I think that that highlights her considerate nature, particularly when compared to most group members. And I do think that some of my decision does come from a little bit of pity because the other girls make fun of her behind her back, but whatever. Moving on to Francesca Findabair. Enid and Gliana, the Daisy of the Valleys, the Queen of Dol Blathanna, the most beautiful woman in the world, is gonna get a no invite because I'm not trying to sit next to that. Okay, I'm just kidding. I think that Enid, Francesca, I think she's got a huge lack of integrity. She does a lot of betrayals. Like, she betrays people multiple times who trust her. Like, I wouldn't want somebody that I can't trust in here. Well, I mean, I don't know how much I could really trust some of these people, but I really can't trust her. She betrays the Brotherhood, as we saw all that fallout on Thaned, and she betrays the elves, the Scoia'tael, and then the ones that helped fight for Nilfgaard in the war. Maybe there's an argument that she didn't have a choice. I don't think that's the case, though. I think that it's just a lack of integrity, and I know some of the reasons that I listed don't really have much to do with her involvement in the Lodge, but do I want somebody with no integrity in my meetings? No. And to be honest, when she performs the artifact compression on Yen, I'm not totally convinced that she did that for Yen's benefit as she claims to. I think that there was a little bit of sadism behind that. All right, we're now going to move on to who is probably the most controversial character of the entire group. I think that my ranking of this character is probably going to get me some love. I also think it's going to get me some hate because we are going to rank Emean. And that was obviously a joke because this is the member that we probably get the least amount of information about and the least amount of interactions from. So she is extremely difficult to judge. She's going to no opinion. Now we're moving on to Sabrina Glevissig. We first meet Sabrina at the banquet in Aretuza. She was a very hands-on Thaned coup participant. She is the advisor to King Henselt of Kedwin. And she's going to be the first one to go into the category of F that B. Sabrina is negative and provocative. The first time we meet her, she's just flaunting her charms for Geralt right in front of Yen. She doesn't care, and that's probably a very common mage thing. I get that, but I'm still taking some points off for it. She's always really short-tempered and just negative and mean. In the Lodge meetings, she shows no sympathy when she probably should, and she votes against Ciri going to see Geralt, and she does it for the worst possible reason. It's spiteful, it's petty, it's because Ciri threatened them. You guys were forcing her to be there, so no. F that be. Next up is Margarita Laux-Antille. Margarita. This is the rectoress of Aretuza. We first met her when she and Assire ran into Ciri and Gorsvelen, and then we see her again later in the bath scene with Yen. And Margarita is going to get a very soft fine. You're invited. I actually really struggled about having an opinion on her because she does some semi-nice, cool things. She doesn't really do a whole lot when it comes to the lodge, but as a person, she did rub me the wrong way. Like, I didn't like her treatment of Ciri in the bathhouse. She talked about how she dated a married man. She complained about her students. But when it comes to the lodge, we do see a meeting where practicing magic comes a little bit easier to her than some of the others, so that's pretty impressive. She's understanding of Yen's escape so that Yen can go find Ciri. When Ciri was forced to go to the lodge meeting, she was giving her these reassuring smiles, which really isn't that much, but I think it's a bit more than what some of the other members were doing. And she did vote for Ciri to go see Geralt, so I think that really pushed her into this tier. All right, now we have Sheala de Tancarville. I don't know how you're supposed to say her last name. We have Sheala. She's a Kovirian recluse, a silver fox boa wearer, and she is gonna join Miss Glevissig. And F that be. I do not like Sheala at all. Her attitude is always ridiculously haughty. She's extremely aggressive towards Ciri when Ciri's forced to come to a lodge meeting, and she votes against Ciri to go see Geralt. And I get that she is intelligent and confident. Like, there's some comparisons you could probably make that are similar to Philippa, but she's always excessively cold-hearted and stern. If Sheala was in my lodge, I would never want to come to the meetings. I would feel very uncomfortable around her. And we're gonna move on to the last member, Miss Yennefer of Vengerberg. Like Triss, this woman needs no introduction. If you know The Witcher at all, you know Yennefer. And maybe there is some question as to whether or not Yen could be considered a lodge member since she has little to no involvement, but she outright calls herself a member. So I'm going to say she counts. And Yen, you're going to be the only member that goes into the love tier because I love Yen as it relates to the lodge, right? Yen, you're not only invited, but you were getting the best damn seat at the table. My overall feelings for Yen could warrant an entirely separate video, so I'm just gonna keep it brief and we're gonna try to stick to lodge specifics. Well, the first action that she takes as a lodge member is to escape it. She's brought to a meeting against her will. She is just forced to be there. She doesn't want to be there. She's learning information while she's at this meeting that is making her want to leave, and she does it. She breaks free. She does this very dangerous escape Ciri rescue mission, and I think that that is so badass. And then during the meeting where Ciri was forced to be there, she does her best to defend Ciri as Ciri's mother. Well, really, as much as they will let her. It's really not that much at all. And that is pretty much it. I think my ranking of Yen does come from more bias than anything else because, well, she doesn't really do that much for the lodge, so you can't really judge her that well. She would probably fit better in no opinion, but we need somebody in the love tier, so screw it. We're gonna make the world a better place in our lodge. Just you wait and see. All right, so we got everybody ranked. Just one little note. I don't know if you consider Ciri a lodge member. I am not going to include her in this list because she literally only goes to one meeting and doesn't do anything. They just tell her her fate in that meeting. So I wouldn't know where to put her. But if it really means a lot to you, I would stick her up there with Yen. So if you want Ciri in this list, just picture her next to Yennefer. She's not actually there, but that's where she would be if I absolutely had to place her. So that is going to be all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and bye.